Click subscribe to get latest news and don't forget to press the bell icon.
The Donald Jr. scandal, that the leftist media hoped would destroy President Trump, continues to shed greater doubt on Democrats as more information becomes available. People are seeing that the real scandal is with the teams who are trying to set up the Trump team. Natalia Veselnitskaya, the Russian lawyer who met with Donald Jr., was given the okay by Obama to enter the U.S. without a visa due to her professional relationship with Fusion GPS, the same firm that created the ridiculous Trump dossier published by BuzzFeed earlier this year. Donald Jr. was set up. Now it's all starting to come together. It's no wonder Veselnitskaya promised Donald Jr. damning information on Hillary Clinton only to completely waste his time during the meeting. It was a carefully organized plot laying the groundwork for the Russian collusion narrative. Veselnitskaya tried to get into the U.S. in 2016 but was denied a visa. So, she appealed her case to the U.S. District Court of New York. Eventually, she was granted a parole letter, which allowed her to enter the U.S. on a client's behalf. What mysterious levers did Veselnitskaya have to pull to get into the U.S.? It turns out the Russian lawyer was able to leverage her professional relationship with the Washington-based research firm Fusion GPS, which has recently made headlines for its opposition research against Trump. Fusion GPS started its anti-Trump antics after being hired by establishment Republicans. Following Trump's victory in the GOP primaries, the dirt digging began to be bankrolled by Democrat money, via The Independent. They eventually came up with a widely panned, and debunked, Trump dossier, headed by former British MI6 official Christopher Steele. Funny how libs don't consider that British interference in our electoral system. The dossier, which was eventually picked up by BuzzFeed, claimed Trump rented a Russian hotel room in which Barack and Michelle Obama had slept just so he could pee on the bed. Oh, and apparently he did it while Russian prostitutes danced around the room. Needless to say, no one believed the dossier. And BuzzFeed's credibility took a major beating. Since then, Fusion GPS has come under heavy fire, but not just because of the absurd dossier. Fusion GPS has been a huge opponent of the Magnitsky Act, a U.S. law that blacklists Russians suspected of involvement in the death of Russian lawyer Sergei Magnitsky. Because of its work against the Magnitsky Act and its role in the dossier, Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley, ARIA, asked the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate Fusion GPS. What makes this all the more fascinating is that Natalia Veselnitskaya's work over the last few years has largely centered around repealing the Magnitsky Act. After all, that's the topic she brought up before Donald Jr. instead of the dirt on Clinton, she had promised. She's clearly working with Fusion GPS. They have the same political goals. That means Natalia Veselnitskaya is aligned with one of the biggest anti-Trump firms in the country. Obama let her get into the U.S. without a visa so she could go to work undermining Donald Trump. And part of that plan was to stage a setup of Donald Jr. It's despicable. The Dodge needs to launch an investigation into Fusion GPS, Natalia Veselnitskaya, and the Obama administration ASAP.